Hello and welcome to a new backcountry snowpack summary for the North Shore Mountains on Christmas Eve 2021. It was a big week for avalanches on the North Shore. We started off the last weekend with a proper avalanche cycles with slab avalanches up to size 2 with crowns 30 to 50 centimeters deep. Very touchy conditions in the morning that kind of settled as the day went by, and then it mellowed out a little bit. As the week progressed, we had a little bit of alternating rain and snow. Had not much more than a little bit of wet loose activity, and then we're out this morning skiing. It's still snowing quite heavily around mid morning. Now this morning we were getting dry loose avalanches in steep terrain running really fast on the crust that was formed midweek. As the snow continues to fall, I'm suspecting that we're probably going to start to see a little bit of slab activities, maybe a little bit later this afternoon or into tomorrow. But that's, it's up for debate. We'll see how much more snow we will get. But this morning was essentially just really good skiing. As we're getting into the rest of the week, cold temperatures are supposed to happen. That's definitely going to change things a little bit in the upper snowpack. So if you want to know more about what's going on with the snowpack, stick around for the snowpack discussion. Our profile site is on a open slope here in the trees at 1,200 meters on a east aspect. And so this is essentially the snow that we got in December. If we go down to the bottom of the profile here, we have the December 9th crust, and then we had like the two big storms. This week, last time we talked, we were just on the edge of a storm. This was the snow that fell over that period of time. And Saturday morning, a little bit as expected, we had probably our first proper avalanche cycle on the North Shore with very touchy snow, and avalanches reported up to size 2 with crowns of about 50 centimeters deep. And it was quite a bit upside down. It's settling nicely now. It's definitely not as reactive as it was. What we have here is essentially what happened midweek. We had periods of alternating rain and snow, which created this sort of stiff laminated crust with a little bit of weak snow in between. But ultimately, the top part of this is quite stiff and offers pretty good bridging, which means that it becomes a little bit harder to have access to those weak layers deeper down. Now that said, those weak layers, December 11th and December 9th, we've been testing them. And, last week we weren't getting too much. But on this profile site here, we're a little bit surprised. The first test that we did, we actually did get a significant result all the way down here. That's 118 centimeters deep. And knowing that and, the standards of the test, when it's deeper than 100 centimeters, we have to modify our technique a little bit to a deep tap. So we repeated the test with a deep tap, and we're able to repeat a pretty obvious sudden planer on that layer. That said, I think the snowpack is settling nicely, but certainly still has some weak layers in it that are still reactive to test. That said, the likelihood of triggering those layers when we have such good bridging above with this crust is probably fairly low. And then above the crust we have what we got this morning or last night and this morning. It's still snowing. It's really nice fluffy snow, and the crust underneath is not so stiff that you can't actually get an edge in. So this morning we're out skiing in the trees, and we're actually getting pretty good skiing, all things considered. As we're looking to what's coming our way, I'm sure you've heard that there's a an Arctic outflow coming in. So really cold and dry weather for what looks to be, at least a week. So what we're going to get is near surface faceting and surface hoar probably growing during that period. So probably not a whole lot of action going on avalanche-wise within the next week, but the creation of what potentially can become a weak layer, and hopefully not, but certainly possibly a persistent weak layer in the snowpack coming into January when precip starts again. That's all I have for this week. Stay safe, and we'll see you on New Year's.